Hey, y'all ready to dig back in? Oh, it's so good. And it's so encouraging. If you don't need it, I need it. So I'm talking to myself as I'm looking at myself while I'm recording these videos. So we have thoroughly defined the fear that Paul was talking about here in his letter to Timothy. So let's move on to the heart of the matter. I love this so much. I love all of this. But God gave man a spirit when he breathed his life into his nostrils in Genesis 2. Now, we can go back to one of the days that we've already done, right? Day 3 was, I am made in his image. That God breathed the breath of life into his creation, and man became a living being. The Old Testament of the Bible was written originally in Hebrew, so a more direct translation of what happened when God breathed into the nostrils of his creation is that he imparted his essence into mankind. The work was completed. We were made like God. So it was his spirit. The word give, used in 2 Timothy 1:7, means to give forth from one's self. And that's what God did. He gave us his spirit. His spirit contains no fear. There is no fear in God's spirit. Man's spirit became contaminated with fear when Adam and Eve chose to trust the voice of Satan over the voice of God. At that moment in time, they became disconnected from God and connected to Satan. Fear was all they could see, and shame was all they could feel. But God sent Jesus. He opened the door for us to again be connected with love himself. God, the one in whom fear does not exist. And when we submitted our lives to Jesus Christ, our fear-ridden spirit was born again. We received his spirit, a spirit of power, love, and a calm, well-balanced mind. So let's look at some definitions in the spirit that God has given us. Remember, God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. I love the way, I've already said this, and I'll continue to say it, that the Amplified Version breaks this down. Because it says, of power, love, and of a calm, well-balanced mind, discipline, and self-control. So, it speaks to so much in that verse, and we're gonna break it down. So, a spirit full of power, dunamis. This is the power which the resurrection of Christ has for instructing, informing, evaluating, or elevating, and tranquilizing the soul. So this spirit of power, this comes from, and we are enabled to receive this because of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The power of the resurrection, a spirit full of power. You know, Romans tells us, let's just go there because, I don't want you to take my word for it. But I will have to find it. I do know that it's in Romans, that the same spirit that raised Jesus Christ from the dead, there it is. It's Romans 8:11. So if the spirit of him who raised up Jesus Christ from the dead dwells in you, that spirit full of power, which Ephesians tells us. So let's just go. Can we just go on a trip through the Bible this week? Can we just do that? Find some word to stand on? Because if you've got his word on it, that's the word that holds the planets in space. Right. So Ephesians 1 verse 20 says, so this power, the immeasurable and unlimited and surpassing greatness of his power in us and for us who believe, as demonstrated in the working of his mighty strength, which he exerted in Christ when he raised him from the dead and seated him at his own right hand in the heavenly places. That power, immeasurable, unlimited, and surpassing greatness, that is the spirit of power, a spirit full of power that he has given you. That's the spirit that God has given you. Full of power, the power which the resurrection of Christ has for instructing, changing or reforming, and tranquilizing our soul, bringing peace. There is nothing beyond the ability of the power of God. And so when we receive his power, we are enough. There is enough strength, enough power in us, right? To be able to make a change, to be able to walk as a slave no longer. All right, so we are going to pick up here tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.